Welcome to EduRev. Today we are going to crack the code on one of the most feared parts of the UCAT Decision Making section, syllogisms. Yeah, I know. But if these logic puzzles have ever made your brain feel like it's tying itself in knots, you are in exactly the right place.
So let me tell you a little secret. Most people get these wrong because they treat them like some kind of weird math problem. But that's not what they are. What if I told you it's actually just a language? It's got its own words, its own grammar, its own rules, and once you learn how to speak logic, the puzzles just click. Today, I'm going to be your translator. So here's our lesson plan to get you fluent. First step, we're going to learn the basic vocabulary. Then, we'll use those words to build sentences. After that, I'll show you an incredibly powerful grammar rule. I call it the contrapositive power move. Then we'll cover the common traps people fall into. And finally, we'll put it all together into your UCAT master plan. Sound good? Let's go.
Okay, every language has to start with vocabulary, right? And logic is no different. We need to get crystal clear on what the key words mean, because they tell us exactly how different things are related. Getting this right is the foundation for, well, everything else we're about to do.
Let's break down our new vocabulary into 4 simple groups. First, you've got your absolute words. Think all or none. These are extreme. We're talking 100% or 0%, no wiggle room. Next are proportion words, like most or few. These deal in percentages. Then there are words of existence, some or many. These just tell you that at least one of something exists. And finally, you've got link words, like only, which create these really important conditional relationships. The key here is that in this language, every single word has a super precise meaning. There's no room for kinda or sorta.
All right, so now that we have our words, it's time to learn the grammar. We need a consistent way to arrange these words into logical sentences, statements that we can actually work with and analyze.
And here it is. This is the universal grammar of logic. If X, then Y. Super simple. Just think of X as the trigger. If that trigger happens, then Y, the result, is absolutely guaranteed to happen. So if it rains, that's our X, then the ground is wet, that's our Y. It's a clean, powerful structure that cuts through all the noise.
Okay, so if X, then Y is the basic grammar, then the contrapositive is your first big power move. Seriously, this is a technique that lets you take a statement, flip it around, and create a brand new statement that is 100% logically identical to the original. Mastering this is an absolute game changer on the UCAT.
So how do we actually do it? It's a really simple 2-part move. You start with your original statement. If X, then Y. First, you reverse the terms. Then, and this is the part people forget, you negate both of them. So our sentence, if it rains, the ground is wet, becomes, if the ground is not wet, then it has not rained. See that? It's the exact same piece of logic, just looked at from a completely different angle. And this right here shows you the biggest trap people fall into. They reverse the terms, but they forget to negate them. Saying, if the ground is wet, then it rained, well, that's not actually guaranteed, is it? Maybe someone just turned on a sprinkler. The only transformation that is always, always true is the contrapositive. If not Y, then not X. You need to burn this into your memory. Now, here's a super important rule. This power move, it doesn't work on everything. It only works for those absolute 100% statements. You know, the ones that use words like all, none, or only. You absolutely cannot use it on a statement like, most doctors are rich. It just doesn't work. Think about it. If someone isn't rich, that doesn't tell us for sure that they aren't a doctor. The logic completely falls apart. This distinction is critical.
All right, you've got the basics down cold. Now let's dive into the more advanced dialect of logic. These are the tricky phrases and traps that are literally designed to catch you out on the UCAT. Learning to spot these is what separates the novices from the experts.
Okay, I need you to pay really close attention here because this is probably the single most notorious trap in UCAT logic. Look at how one tiny 3-letter word, the, completely flips the entire statement on its head. Only doctors are rich means if you find a rich person, you know for a fact they must be a doctor. The trigger is being rich, but the only rich people are doctors means that being a doctor is what makes you part of that exclusive rich group. The trigger is being a doctor. It's so subtle, but it changes everything. So, we've learned the vocabulary, we've learned the grammar, we've got a power move, and we know about a major trap. Now it's time to pull this all together into a clear action plan that you can use to nail these syllogisms for good.
So here it is, your logic toolkit. This is your master plan. Number 1,
Know your vocabulary, the precise meaning of words like all, some, and only. Number 2, get in the habit of translating messy sentences into that clean if X then Y grammar. 3, master that contrapositive power move. Remember, you have to reverse and negate. 4, never forget that the contrapositive only works for absolute categorical statements. And finally, number 5, keep your eyes peeled for those tricky phrases, especially the difference between only and the only. This is your blueprint.
You now have the fundamental rules to speak the language of logic. You really do. But just like any language, fluency only comes with practice. So to continue your UCAT journey and really master syllogisms with tons of practice questions and detailed explanations, you should download the EduRev app. It's available right now on both the Play Store and the iOS App Store. Go on, get practicing.